Hi everyone, welcome to my channel English Literature 101. The topic for the day is a poem titled Geography Lesson, prescribed in Cbse for class 8 in the book named Honeydew. Before going into the detailed explanation of the poem, let us know something about the poet. The poet of this particular poem is Zulfikar Ghose. Zulfikar Ghose is a poet, novelist, as well as an essayist, born on March 13, 1935 in Sialkot, India. But after that, he migrated to Pakistan and now is settled in USA. Ghose's first novel was The Contradictions, 1966, which explores differences between Western and Eastern attitudes and ways of life. The Murder of Aziz Khan, 1967. The trilogy named The Incredible Brazilian, comprising of The Native, 1972, The Beautiful Empire, 1975, and A Different World, 1978. Shakespeare's Mortal Knowledge, A Reading of the Tragedies, 1993, etc. His poems include The Loss of India, 1964, Selected Poems, 1991, 50 Poems, 2010. He also wrote autobiography, Confessions of a Native Alien, 1965. So without any further delay, let's move into the poem. Geography Lesson. Let's first look into the title. You all must be wondering why the poet named the poem such. We are reading English, isn't it? What has English to do with geography? So let me tell you. Geography, we know, is a study of physical features of the earth and its atmosphere. It is a study of human activity, its effect, how we humans are affected by this, and the distribution of population and resources, isn't it? Now, have you ever imagined how our earth looks from different altitudes, from great height? When a plane or a jet takes off and starts to move up in the sky, how is the view from up there? Such an adventurous and thrilling and at the same time a beautiful ambience is created by the poet through the lines of this poem. The main motive or aim of the poet here is to bring to the reader's eyes the land below when viewed from the sky. And he named it so because he talks about earth, which is a part of geography, thus justifying its title. And as we proceed, we will get to know another important view which the poet discovers and reflects upon. So let's start the poem and see the views, the experience, and the poet's love for traveling, which the poet wants to share with us. When the jet sprang into the sky, it was clear why the city had developed the way it had, seeing it scaled 6 inches to the mile. The poet in these lines says that when a plane or a jet sprangs up, that is, when a plane rises up into the sky, the poet comes to know that why the city had developed itself in such a way. Here, way means the planning, that is, the planning of cities. So, when the jet or the plane rises up, the poet comes to know that why or in what way the city had developed itself. And from high above the sky, everything looked so small. The thing which from ground looked a mile in distance or looked so big turns to be like 6 inches or small blocks up from the sky. There seemed an inevitability about what on ground had looked haphazard, unplanned, and without style when the jet sprang into the sky. In these lines, the poet starts describing the city from above the sky. He says that it is inevitable, that is, it is certain that the city is what? Unplanned. The city grew as per its necessity and did not grow with a proper uniformity, pattern, or style. There is a lack of organization on the ground. Then again we find that the poet states the earlier lines to show or emphasize that he saw or noticed all such things when he was up in the air. When the jet reached 10,000 feet, it was clear why the country had cities where the rivers ran and why the valleys were populated. The poet in these lines says that when the plane reached about 10,000 feet in the sky, the poet noticed and came to know why cities and countries are located in such a manner and why the valleys are so very populated. The logic of geography that land and water attracted man was clearly delineated when the jet reached 10,000 feet. Here the poet cites a logic of geography which shows or proves the actual reason for the people to settle in such an unplanned and unorganized way. As per his view, land, that is, the green land where cultivation can be done, and water are two essential things for survival of human. So humans settled themselves in those places where they could get these two essentials easily, and thus the settlement of the people was such unorganized and unplanned. Like the previous stanza, in this stanza also the poet repeats the line, when the jet reached 10,000 feet, to emphasize that from 10,000 feet up in the sky he could see land and water. When the jet rose 6 miles high, it was clear the earth was round and that it had more sea than land. In these lines, the poet says that when the aeroplane was at the height of around 6 miles, it became clear to him that the earth is round and our earth has more water, that is, our earth has more sea in comparison to land. But it was difficult to understand that the men on the earth found causes to hate each other, to build walls across cities and to kill. From that height, it was not clear why. In these lines, the poet deals with an important matter. According to him, he was able to understand from there that the earth is round, but he was unable to understand the fact that why people hate each other, why they separate themselves by building walls, borders for themselves, dividing cities and countries, and ultimately dividing people and dividing humanity. In this context, let me tell you one thing. When I was telling you about the poet, I mentioned that he was born in India. Later, he migrated to Pakistan and now he is settled in USA, isn't it? This feeling of partition which he talks in the poem comes from his own life experience. He feels that why people can't live peacefully, why there is so narrow-mindedness prevailing in human. From such a height, he feels that when earth itself is single, is united, is round, why do we people divide it by building walls, borders and partition? Why there is bloodshed everywhere? Why there is hostility everywhere? Why can't people live in a friendly and peaceful manner? To sum up the whole poem, we can say that here the poet talks about three things. Firstly, how earth looks from the sky. Secondly, how civilization was established. And thirdly, his pondering over the question that why people hate each other, why a wall of separation or border is created by the people. He talks about human narrow-mindedness. He ponders over why people stopped living peacefully and why the seeds of hatred had grown in them. And finally, in the last line, he concludes saying that from that height, he was unable to understand the real cause or reason behind this bloodshed, hatred, and enmity. So guys, that's all for today's video, and I hope you all have understood the poem well. If you have any queries regarding the poem, do let me know in the comment section below. And please don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.